Hey guys, it's me, Mario, and today we're going to continue Nixa, the Deathbringer. Chapter 6, The Sound of Evil. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. And let's get on to Chapter 6, The Sound of Evil. Tom gripped his sword and drew it out of its sheath. Now he remembered what Wizard Eldru had told him. Nixa, the ghost beast, was a shapeshifter. She could appear in any form she wanted. I can't believe I have been so stupid, he thought. Elena isn't scared of quests. And she never fails at hunting either. And she would definitely never leave Silver behind. You're not Elena, he shouted at the figure by his side. His hand trembled with the struggle of aiming his sword at someone who looked like his friend. You're Nixa, the Deathbringer. No. The Elena he had excused stepped back, raising her hands to protect herself. Her eyes were wide with terror, and her face twisted in an ugly grimace. You've got it wrong, Tom. I'm the real Elena. Seize Nixa. Tom, the other Elena called out, bounding even faster down the path to reach them. Defeat her now. She's Nixa. Tom looked from one to the other. His sword stretched out in front of him. His hand shook with the agony of deciding. He had to confront the beast, but he couldn't risk hurting Elena. He needed to be absolutely certain which was the real one. Here's Tom realizing that his friend has been replaced by Nixa. I can't be sure, he whispered. The Elena at Tom's side stepped forward and grabbed the other Elena as she reached them. She whirled her around until Tom wasn't sure any more which was which. They were both dressed in the same clothes, with the same untied hair and the same smug of dirt across their foreheads. They carried the same bows and arrows. I don't know, screamed a voice inside Tom's head. Then he heard furious yelps coming from the direction of the woods. Silver was charging across the grass, his strong legs pumping, reaching the road. He hurled himself at the Elena nearest to Tom. All the hairs on his back bristled with anger. Clever boy, Tom exclaimed. The ghost beast can't fool you. The fake Elena staggered back as she crashed into her. Get off, you flea-biting animal, she cried. Her shape flickered and changed into the form of the beautiful woman in scarlet silk that Tom had seen in Elderu's magical screen. Silver passed right through her and landed on the path beyond with a whimper of sheer astonishment. Gripping his sword, Tom faced Nixa. She had two options for attacking him. he realized. When she was flesh and blood, she was strong but could be injured. Whereas her ghostly form, no one could touch her. But I have to try, he thought. Tom swung his sword wildly. Too wildly. The tip caught on a boulder, dragging across the surface of the stone with a harsh, grating sound. A deep shudder passed through Nixa. Her face set into a grimace of fear and loathing. Tom stared as slime stroked out all over her body. Her eyes multiplied, and she became the tentacled monster that had attacked his father. Silver crouched beside the beast, growling, while Storm let out a startled whine and backed rapidly away. Nixa shrank from them, then turned and fled down the road. "What's happening?" Elena asked, coming to stand beside Tom. "What's the matter with her?" "It must have been the sound," Tom replied, watching the space where Nixa had been. "She hated the noise my sword made in the rock. Now I know how to defeat her." A blue light shone out behind him, casting his and Elena's shadows ahead of them. Tom whirled around. A man stood in the shimmering light. His father, Taladon. He still looked weak and ghostly. Tom gasped with surprise. He hadn't expected to see his father again until his quest was completed. "You're lucky to be alive," Taladon said. "You shouldn't get too close to Nixa." "But she ran before we could even fight," Tom replied. "How can I defeat her if I mustn't get close to her? She has a weapon you don't know about yet. I'm here to warn you." "Be careful of her voice," his father told him. "You said her voice was beautiful," Elena said, frowning. "How can it be dangerous?" "Beautiful and deadly," said Teledon. "It feels like a dagger of ice, piercing your ears and your heart. Few who hear it have lived. Take care, Tom. If you let Nixa get too close to you, she will use her voice. If your sword hadn't scraped that boulder, you could all be dead by now. Nixa is a beast who lives and dies through heart-wrenching sounds." Teledon's own voice began to fade away, and the shimmering blue light dimmed. "Wait," Tom exclaimed. "I want to ask," but Teledon had vanished. Tom turned to Elena. "I wanted to know how my father managed to defeat Nixa." "We'll work something out ourselves," Elena assured him. "We always do." Silver, who had stayed crouched on the ground while Teledon was speaking, got up, gave himself a shake, and trotted over to Elena. She ruffled his fur, and he pressed close to her side. Tom walked over to where Storm was standing and patted the stallion's neck. "Come on, boy. We've got to find Nixa now and get the piece of the amulet before she does any more harm." Tom swung himself onto Storm's saddle and held out a hand to help Elena up behind him. "Nixa shouldn't give us too much trouble." Now we know what frightens her, Elena said, as they set off along the road once more. I'm not so sure, Tom said. An unpleasant thought sent shivers of apprehension down his spine. She ran away from noise, but what was she doing here in the first place? The ghost beasts are supposed to stay in the Forbidden Land, but Nixa dared to come out and meet us right here, in the middle of Eventia. What else will she dare to do? Here's Tom realizing that is not Elena, but Nixa. Here is the transformed Nixa after she was found out. And here's Tom talking to Teledon after Nixa escaped from all the noise that his sword made. And yeah, that was chapter 6. I always forget the chapters' names. The Sound of Evil. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 6. And I hope you'll join me on Thursday. Well, I'll be reading the next chapter of Beast Quest. Add. Well, I hope you like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you guys are interested in more Beast Quest videos. We are getting awfully close to 100 subscribers, so I'm excited. Well, see you guys.